Hey everybody, this is Jessica Lynn of JessicaLynnOriginal.com, and today I have decided to try and use my Distress Oxide inks. Now, after a couple of behind the card shows, they have really encouraged me just to dive in, jump into the pool, and try it. So I went ahead and I watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and I'll be really honest, after I saw how it worked, at least for, we'll call this try number one, I definitely want to go in and try using some water and some other tools. I saw a really cool video where someone used an entire stamp background where they got it wet, and when they dried it, it just had this beautiful impression. So I'm going to call that level 2 for me. So the thing I wanted to do is I have a digital stamp that is up on our website, which is just JessicaLynnOriginal.com. And if you've never been to our website, the link is down below. I would love for you to take a look. I am both the artist and the owner of the company, so I draw everything that you see. And what I thought I wanted to do was, we have this adorable little owl that we've had for quite a long time, and I am working on a children's book, and I wanted to learn how to use the Distress Oxides because I may use some of that in my book illustration, and I'm really excited about it. So I have one up where he is dressed in a Halloween costume, and you'll have to wait a little bit, although I'm sure if you saw the image on my website or on here on YouTube, you probably have already seen what he's dressed up as. But you can go ahead and download it, and then you print them out and you can make cards with them. And we do ask that you use those for card making purposes. You can sell the cards, that's fine. Just make sure you put that you made the stamp came from Jessica Lynn Original. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the Distress Oxides, and the colors that I picked were Carved Pumpkin, Squeezed Lemonade, Age Mahogany, and Rusty Hinge. And I wanted to build this really musty sort of sun that was in the background. And so at first when I started, it kind of felt like it was a little too heavy. But what I realized is you just keep kind of working through it, working in the circles, and after a little bit, all of a sudden, it sort of just started to blend together. And so at this version, when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a little too, like, you can see where I stamped. But as soon as they started kind of continuing to blend and blend, they melted together, and in person, oh my goodness, it is just a stunning background. And I'm completely floored. For too long I have watched other people make cards, and I have been inspired by their beautiful backgrounds and thought I couldn't do it. I'm gonna tell you, you can do it. You know, and they're right. And I remember one of the very first couple of back to the behind the cards, someone said to me, just try. And I was like, I don't know. And you know, my guests have been continually encouraging and supportive. And you're right. You know what? Start with one color. Try all these different things. Don't invest in a ton. But I'm so happy with the way this turned out. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to build up this sun. Now the color I'm using right now is this Aged Mahogany. I had a thought that I didn't want a red. I wanted something that had a red-ish tone to it. And this worked out perfect. And like I said, in person, I don't even know. I feel like I borrowed somebody else's background. Like, it looks that cool. Made my day. So I'm going to go ahead, build this all up, and then we will go ahead and start on the next step. Now the next thing that I wanted to do was to go ahead and use my old school Cuttlebug, and I got this from my mom for Christmas when I first started Jessica Lynn Original 15 years ago, and I love the fact that I am still using it today. Like, every time I use it, I always think of her, and it makes me so happy. And you know, I always call it, when we call and talk, I always tell her that, you know, I used that little die cut machine that you bought me, and she gets like, yay, you're still using it. So the die that I'm going to use, it's a little inker. It's called Stitched Rectangles. I really love, I don't know, I remember when I first started card making, I fell in love with that little stitched edge. I do sew as well, so it's one of those things whenever I see, you know, like a little stitched edge, it's always like such a nice finish to me. And I just thought, you know what, let's use that. And I was super excited because before everything went away, I was able to buy 2 more full sets of these, the little plastic pieces. So I'm super excited. So if my original ones die, which those are my original ones, I still have 2 more ready to go just in case. So super happy with that. Now I know it was a lot of work that I did for a very small amount of space that ends up being on my actual card, but it was really good practice. And I had a guest on my show named Amy, and what I loved about what she did, so if you haven't seen Behind the Card, go take a look. It's on our channel. I interview different card makers every week, or owners of companies that make stamps or other. So I'm excited, but I don't want to tell you guys quite yet what the other is. But one of the things that I really like is that she goes through and just makes a ton of backgrounds. Just randomly, just to practice making backgrounds. And then she turns those into cards. So it's kind of an interesting idea. I really like it. For me, I'm a little too impatient. I want to make a whole bunch of cards right away. What I realized was that I cut off the mahogany. So I went and pulled that back out, and I'm just going to kind of brush the edge because I didn't want to lose that. And I really liked the darkness. One suggestion that I found on almost every YouTube video was start making your circles off the page. So see how I start them like off there? They said if you start them right on, that's when you get those big marks. So see how that right there? So I've been trying to follow what the video said and start my circles lower and then work my way in. So you can see how that, it's gorgeous. And it really is, I've said it before, it feels like I'm painting with shoe polish. It really does feel like that. But the results of how it looks, I mean, in person, it is so rich and vibrant. I'm so happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean off my brush a little bit. And, oh, look at that. I made that pretty little background there. Gorgeous. So now the next step is I'm going to go ahead and use the digital stamps that I printed off. A lot of people say they're not sure how to use digital stamps. We do have a couple of tutorials here on our YouTube channel. Super easy. I'm using a Brother Scan and Cut because they're digital images, so there's no die cuts for these. What I love is that it'll find whatever image outlines I have and it'll cut them out for me. Now, you can see I used a little bit of tape to hold it down. The problem I have with the Brother Scan and Cut mats, actually any mats, they lose too much of their stickiness way too fast, which is frustrating. So I just use a little bit of tape, make sure I hold it in multiple areas, it holds it secure, and then I don't have to worry about things moving. So let's go ahead and cut it out, and I am going to leave a very small, like 0.06 around it, just because I want just a little bit of an edge. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these images out, and then we'll start coloring. If you didn't see it before, now you can. I'm going to be using the adorable Brentwood Dressed Up and that little BB-8 that I found. I actually found that in a coloring book. So I went ahead and printed it off, and I think it's going to be so cute. So in my mind, my little Brentwood is all dressed up for Halloween, perhaps visiting Galaxy's Edge at Disney World, Florida. And maybe he's, going to go ahead to the droid depot and he's going to build his little droid. And he was lucky enough to find some spare parts to make his own version of BB-8, which I absolutely love. Now I did end up cutting off the little lightsaber for the card because it just didn't look right. I definitely think that in the right circumstance it looks perfect, but for my card it didn't. And I'm just coloring this in using a couple of Copics. I love adding the shadows. So let me go ahead and grab little Brentwood here and we'll get him all colored up. So cute. Oh my goodness. Brentwood's official colors, I've had a lot of people ask me if he has official colors, and he does. I don't know if you want his feathers. Most of Brentwood is E33 and E35, and those are two Copic marker colors that I use all the time, which is sand and charmeuse. And then his beak and his feet should be a W7, which is a warm gray. And then his chest, let me just grab this marker here, it's E21. So those are his official colors. Although I'll be really honest, I have seen Brentwood pink, I have seen Brentwood gray, I've seen Brentwood all different colors, and he is absolutely beautiful in any shade, and he's too cute. I love this. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for you to see the final card. I think you're really going to love it, and it's so cute. And see, there's that little skin color, and then his eyes are the same color as his chest. One of the ideas I had was that by leaving that little bit of a 0.06 around the image, the sun from the sunset would sort of be, to the back of them and kind of bursting through, because, I don't know, I just thought, it would just be so bright, bright suns. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to make it look like the yellow is coming through onto them and sort of casting like a hue. So I was looking at a bunch of movie posters, and that's kind of how it looked. So I'm just using, again, the Distress Oxide to kind of go all the way around, have that just sort of pop out, so you can see how beautiful that looks. Oh, I cannot wait to put this card together. Now, if you haven't heard this story before, that adhesive, the Tombow, kid you not, I think I still have like half or 3/4 of a box of that. And I had a boss that had a deal where she could buy a ton of it at a very low wholesale price, and I said, done, order me a bunch. And I don't remember, I want to say I bought like $100 or something worth or more, and I still have so much of it, so I'm just using it through. So I decided to add the black as the background because I really wanted that sun to really just pop. Subtle, not so subtle. Don't forget to sign the back of your cards. They're your art, your creations. Again, if you do use one of our stamps, like our digitals or any of our photopolymers, just make sure to sign on the back. The stamp came from Jessica Lynn Original. Now, I wanted a sentiment that worked really well, and I had a cat scrappiness stamp set, and I love this. Look, it's all these adorable little punny foods. And so I thought, you know what, we're a perfect pair. It needed to be the stamp I used. That's the one thing I love about owning so many stamp sets. I also buy other people's stamp sets too, not only just my own. But you never know what sentiment is going to kind of strike you or what font. So I do like it when companies include a lot of different sentiments that we can use. And that went perfect. Oh, I'm loving this. This is my very first try at making a background for a card, and I am just really happy with the way it turned out, and we are getting ready to assemble. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to let this dry a little bit, and then we are going to start assembling the card. I'm just going to go ahead and put that stamp set away. And again, my name is Jessica Lynn. I'm the owner, artist of JessicaLynnOriginal.com. If you like what I'm doing here on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. I love having you here. And don't forget, every Saturday we do a really fun show called Behind the Card. We interview different card makers, stamp owners, designers, and so much more. And I love just kind of finding out all about them. How did they get started? You know, what kind of cool, fun things do they bring to the table? And it's a lot of fun. So don't forget to subscribe so that you get reminders when we're gonna get together. So I'm gonna go ahead, and at first I was gonna put this on foam risers, and then I decided, you know what, nope, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it right on there. And I went ahead and when I put it down, I was gonna center it, and I decided, I want it a little off center. And so what I did was I actually, I'd say my margins were probably 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and then maybe a little over that for the bottom. I left a little bit more on the bottom, only because then I thought the darkness would kind of pull you through, and it really does. It looks like a shadow, so I'm really happy with that. So you can see it's a little wider. Then what I'm going to do, oh my gosh, I cannot, it's so cute. I decided to put Brentwood and his little droid that he built at Galaxy's Edge. I decided to use foam risers to put them, and I realized that I needed a little bit more of the darker base at the bottom, and I was taking a risk. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I was a little worried, and I decided to put a little bit more of that mahogany down at the bottom, just to help build a little bit more of a base. And then I did that, and I went, oh my god, I messed it up. I messed up my whole background. So I went and grabbed one of the bigger brushes quick and solved it. Yay! I was so scared. I really thought I messed it up. After all that hard work, I really just thought I messed up my whole card, and I didn't. So before I destroyed it, I decided, let's go ahead, we'll stop while we're ahead, grab those foam risers, and let's get this card assembled. It is so adorable. I am so happy with it. I absolutely love it. I did not think that I would be able to do this. And you know what? Any of you who are thinking, maybe I want to try Distress Oxide, I watch a lot of people, I see the pictures, it looks so difficult. It's not. It just takes a little bit of practice and commitment, and I am so happy that I tried it, and I love this card. I did add some little drops up there just to add some extra, and I love that it pulled the color in too, so super happy with this card. Again, my name is Jessica Lynn. I'm the owner, artist, and creative mind behind JessicaLynnOriginal.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today. I hope I inspired you to make a card like this and to try it. This digital stamp is available right now, so be sure to go and pick him up as soon as possible. And again, don't forget to subscribe, comment down below. Take care, everybody.